Missouri was giving out grants to help nonprofits, if they had playgrounds, put nice, soft, rubberized surfaces on them.
That made the playgrounds safer. Children were less likely to be injured. If they fell down, they were less likely to skin a knee or break a bone.
But when a church applied for such a grant, it kicked off a big state church fight.
Not every controversy about playgrounds is child's play. For instance, this case heard by the Supreme Court involving whether children on a playground owned by a church have the same right to safety and protection as other kids.
Trinity Lutheran Church and its preschool certainly qualified for the grant, but then the state said, no way. Separation of church and state means no state money can go for anything to do with this religious organization. That's the position taken by Barry Lynn of Americans United for Separation of Church and State, who said a playground can be used by religion.
This preschool, with its playground attached, is an essential part of the ministry of this church and an essential part of its mission.
James Layton argued the case for Missouri.
Almost 200 years ago, the people of the state of Missouri, adopting language that finds its origin in the founding fathers in Virginia and elsewhere, decided that we were not going to tax people in order to give money to churches.
But Trinity Lutheran and its lawyer argued protecting kids on a playground isn't going to promote religion and shouldn't be discriminated against.
We aren't asking for special treatment. We are just asking not to be treated worse than everyone else. Whether you are a Jewish, Muslim, or Christian kid, or not religious at all, when you fall down on a playground, it hurts just as much at a religious preschool as it does at a non-religious school.
David Cortman of the Alliance Defending Freedom argued the case for Trinity Lutheran, saying Missouri discriminated against it just because it's religious.
The denial here was because who the organization was. So when you approach the government, why should it matter who you are? Why should it matter if you're a person of faith or not?
There's a broad concern among religious people in this country that we're becoming second-class citizens. All religious people are asking for in this country is equal treatment.
Alliance Defending Freedom's senior counsel Eric Stanley said the justices seem to find flaws in Missouri's hardline stance, like when Justice Alito questioned Missouri's attorney Layton.
He said, well, what about a Department of Homeland Security program that would harden schools against terrorism? Under the state of Missouri's policy, would that be allowed for church schools? And Mr. Layton said no, that would not be allowed.
The number of questions from a broad range of justices expose the silliness of the state's position here.
Travis Weber of the Family Research Council said the brand new justice, Neil Gorsuch, jumped in to clarify how religious rights were being wounded by Missouri's position.
I think Justice Gorsuch wanted to make the point that religious freedom here demanded equal protection for churches and non-churches, religious institutions, non-religious institutions. He made that point precisely, very poignantly at the right moment.
Religious liberties advocate Ralph Reed worried how Missouri's position against any aid for religious organizations could be used to prevent them getting vital services, like protection by police or firefighters.
So if essentially secular programs are allowed to be banned for people of faith simply because of their religious faith, that's a pretty bad precedent to set that could be used by governments at the state and local level to discriminate against religion in all kinds of other ways.
So the implications of this Trinity Lutheran playground case go way beyond playgrounds. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.